Another one.
Play my theme music.
Oh, yeah. We love the theme music around here.
All right, let's do it.
Wait. Oh, this one? I
Yeah.
do like this one, too.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, let's do it. Yes, sir. Roll excited for another edition of the Sportaholics.
Yeah, man, it's the last call. It's the last call, guys,
true.
man. Welcome in. You know how we do it, man.
I have a quick rant to start it off. I'm going to do my best to impersonate you.
Oh.
Welcome in, guys. Come on in.
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's go. Come on in.
I like it. Yeah, man. We're going to get this thing started.
Here we go.
Come on in, guys. Come on in, guys.
Warming up.
Welcome to the last call. We're going to get this thing started here in a minute. In a minute. Go ahead, pour yourself a drink if you need to. Kick off your shoes, make yourself feel like comfortable. I'm rolling with the name, The Den. So,
Oh, the Den. We forgot to brainstorm that.
yeah, man.
Full disclosure. Maybe by Friday we'll have it.
If you guys have a title for what we should call like our mini studio here, let us know, man. Let us know in the comments, man. We're looking for it.
Yeah.
We need a sports bar name. Make it good. Make it good. Please make it good.
Obviously, we need some time to brainstorm on it because I'm just sitting here looking like nothing's coming into my head. But we'll think of something. Like I said yesterday.
All right. I just need to make your trivia for today really, really good.
Ooh.
I can't throw you a softball.
Okay. I ought to give you trivia one of these days. Oh, you
All
found
right,
one?
I got one that you.
Okay.
There's no way you're gonna get this. There's no way you're gonna get today's trivia, man. So, with
I'm
that,
excited to hear it.
yeah, man. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the show, man. Like we said in the opening intro, man, guys, welcome to the Den. This is the last call with the Sportaholics. I'm the host, Russ. That's my guy over there, the expert, Peyton, man. And today we're just chopping it up. We got a lot to talk about. Another transaction has happened in the NFL with the head coaches. We want to touch on some NBA transactions with the deadline coming up soon.
Yeah.
Man, it's a lot that we have to get into. We're going to talk about the MVP for the NFL this year. And there was a first in the NFL
This year. This
So
season.
we're looking forward to jumping into all of that. So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and get into it. Peyton,
Let's do it.
How you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good, man. I
Good.
have a quick rant.
Okay.
That I just want to get off the top.
Okay.
And I've been on this topic for a while now, but I believe it's worth saying again. I think we're at a point in the NBA where the league is too transactional.
Yeah. So before you get to that,
Okay.
you guys, please be sure to go ahead and follow us on all social media platforms at The Sportaholics. If you're not already following the YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel, dropping comments in the comment section. I don't know what you guys are waiting for. So Peyton, tell the people something because they need to be following us. They need to continue the conversation with us, man.
That's true, man.
Yeah.
Getting into my rant.
Yeah.
more
Let
specifically,
them know.
or
Let them know why they should be here, bro.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you think about it, guys are not fulfilling the length of their contracts anymore.
Yep.
Too many people are asking for trades and just not willing to go through the dog days of the NBA season. But I think there's a reason for that. And I don't think it's a slight on the competitive nature of the players we have in the NBA. I think it's the fact that all of the star players know that they're ultimately judged by championships.
Right.
So we just want ring culture to end. Like, if John Morant for the Grizzlies goes out in the second round, but he drops 50 in game 7, but loses, I want to remember that as opposed to just looking back in the history books and remembering whoever won the championship that year.
Right.
Let's reward loyalty. Let's reward guys performing in high leverage situations in the playoffs, not just chasing championships. And the media has done that. The 90s Bulls ruined it for everybody. All we want to talk about is, who has the most rings?
So is there a difference between KD's ring and Golden State and LeBron's ring in Miami?
Perhaps.
What's the
difference?
What's the difference? Well, I guess the major difference and the first thing that sticks out is the fact that Golden State had already won a championship without KD.
Right.
Miami hadn't. Well, they had
with D Wade, but not with Bosh.
Right.
Yeah.
So the nucleus was different in Miami when LeBron got there.
That's why I say perhaps at least a little different.
Yeah.
Because even though the Heat had those free agent transactions and they got LeBron and Bosh, it was like they built it. It was almost like KD was more of an addition.
Right. I can respect
LeBron and Bosh and Wade all came together at once and they formed their own thing.
So, okay. I can definitely respect it, and I agree with the fact that you said perhaps, because it's not completely different, but in the same token, it is a slight difference on how the teams were formed and so on and so forth. So I do agree with you, like I said before.
And by the way, both LeBron and KD fulfilled the lengths of their contracts before they made that move.
Okay,
that's different than what we're seeing in the NBA today with guys like, I don't know, Bradley Beal with the Suns or Jimmy Butler with the Heat,
or the biggest crybaby in the NBA in James Harden,
or that
crying to get from team to team and still not being able to produce, no matter where he went. I mean, James Harden is James Harden, but he anyways. So I understand, man, and I think that it's a lot going on in the NBA right now, and like we alluded to in yesterday's show, I think that there are a lot of owners, presidents, GMs standing in the way of players being great in the NBA. So, and not only in the NBA, but in the NFL as well. And we'll get to that shortly. But anything else that you want to talk about when it comes to the NBA being transactional? I
really hit the point right there. I think that was pretty much it,
Okay.
Yeah.
I do agree that it's become more of a crybaby league, and these guys, as soon as they are not happy, they don't have a problem with voicing their opinion. So man.
But again, would you agree that there's a ring culture there where guys are looking to move on to the next team and just win?
I would agree.
As opposed to being loyal and staying with the team.
Man, yes, but no matter where you go, you don't leave high school and go to I don't know, Bishop Sycamore, right? Like you leave high school as a high school basketball player and you want to go to Duke, you want to go to North Carolina, you want to go to Kentucky, you want to go to UConn, you want to go to all of these schools. Why? Because they have a history of winning, right? So no matter where you go, you want to win. And then the issue with a lot of these players when they get to the league is the fact that they don't, how can I say this? They don't have an opportunity or a choice in where they go, right? They basically have no choice or no say in where they go. So when they get there, they figure out, hey, it's not working with this team. This team is not building around me. They're not providing me the keys that I need to be successful here. I want out. And I would want that too. If you have a job and you're not happy with your job, you have all rights to leave that job. So they're not wrong. I think that the way they go about it is sometimes looked down upon.
That's a fair point.
You know, so
Yeah.
I cannot be mad at them, and I can't say that they are wrong for what they are saying and wanting to get to a better situation.
All right.
Yeah, man.
We can agree on that one.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's go ahead and move on, man.
All right.
I have some bar trivia for you today.
All right.
All right. And I don't think that Peyton's gonna get this. So
Well, did you know the answer when you looked up the question?
I didn't. That's why I know
okay.
you're not gonna get it. This is
Oh,
not,
okay.
even though I've asked you some non-general things and you have nailed the answer, I know for a fact this is a stump.
Okay.
All right. And I'm very confident with that. All right. So today's bar trivia question is, what team in the NFL has never led in a Super Bowl but has appeared 4 times? They have never led in a Super Bowl, but they've been there 4 times.
Yeah, you're stumping me.
I got them. Do you want to take a wild guess?
Well, the first team that came to mind is the Bills, but that doesn't feel right.
Nope. Wouldn't be the Bills.
4 times?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't want to make the people wait any longer. You can just give it to me.
I will give you a clue.
All right.
This team is one of the top teams in the NFL this year. Skull.
Yeah.
Skull.
They've been to the
Skull.
Super Bowl 4 times?
Skull.
That's crazy.
Skull.
I did not know that.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And the Minnesota Vikings.
Huh.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. But they've never
That's
led.
a stump.
Yeah.
That's the definition of a stump. I had no idea where that was going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, I finally got him. I'm happy. We can retire the bar trivia segment. This guy, he's an expert. He's sitting on a bunch of knowledge by all means. So I'm surprised that I was actually able to stomp him. I had to dig deep down in the crate for that one.
Yeah,
I had to pull
you
that.
didn't know it either, so that makes me feel a little better.
Man. All right. So as we alluded to in the intro, man, there was a first in the NFL this year with the amount of teams that won 10 plus games, man. What is off the top? Like, what is that saying about the competition level in the NFL this year to you?
It's almost like nowadays there are more haves and have-nots.
Yeah.
Okay. So fortunately, if you look at the draft classes of the past decade, I think quarterbacks are starting to hit at a higher rate, which gives those have-nots more of a chance.
Right.
But at the end of the day, there were still quite a few bad teams in the league this year. And the favorites covered more than they have in the past. So, yeah, those are my first thoughts about it. What say you?
Man, with you say there's more haves than have-nots. And what I will say is there is no middle class, right? I think there's a lot of top dogs, and I think there's a lot of low level and low hanging fruit in the NFL. Either you're good right now, what we're seeing with 15 teams winning 10 plus games, either you're good or you're not, you know, and that's how I think about high school football. Like, you know, we have these different caliber players and different ratings, and you got 5-star, 4-star athletes. But if you really look at it, is a lot of players out there that's not good and a lot of players that are good. So that's basically how we get these rankings, and that's how we get these teams to sit at 10 wins plus, right? But I did want to walk through the 2023-24 season records versus the 2024-25 records, right? So a couple teams stand out. Like, a couple teams won 10 games last year, but found a way to make that record even better. The first team that stands out, the Buffalo Bills, they won 11 games last year. They won 13 games this year, right? You have, surprisingly, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they won 10 games last year. They stayed even kill at 10 games this year. Same thing with the Houston Texans. They won 10 games last year, and they won 10 games this year. Number one in the NFL with the best record to finish the season, the Kansas City Chiefs. Right. They won 11 games last year, and we all know that they won 15 games this year.
Sure.
So that, like, this is not only telling you that while teams are not improving, there are teams that have been good, but they're only improving. You know what I mean? So the Kansas City Chiefs were a prime example of that.
Right.
And this next team here, we're going to talk about him a little bit later in the show because you have a segment on him with the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts.
Sure.
They won 11 games and they went 14-3 this year, right? So this is showing
rich
you.
are getting richer,
right?
In a sense.
The Detroit Lions, they won 12 games last year and they won 15 games this year.
Sure.
So we can see that there's a I don't know how you like
discrepancy between
not a discrepancy, but we can see that the teams who were good last year came back with a vengeance this year, and they said this year is our year. The one team that I am looking for is the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, the Baltimore Ravens, they won 13 games last year in the regular season. But they had a slight decline, which I wouldn't call it a decline. They just got out the gates a little slow this year, slower than I think they would have predicted or expected, and they only won 12 games this year. I can't say only because that's still top in the league, but by all means, I think that these teams are showing that they're here to stay, while you have teams like my beloved Miami Dolphins, who won 11 games last year, but they only won 8 games this year.
Sure.
All right. And let's talk about this. So I did say that there's a lot of top-heavy teams and then a lot of teams that's just at the bottom, right? So the Jets, they won 7 games last year, took a major decline. They won 5 games this year.
Right.
The New England Patriots, they won 4 games last year. They won 4 games this year, right? Just like the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Bengals, they won 9 games last year, won 9 games this year.
Sure.
Here's the biggest decline in the NFL based off of 1 year, right? You have the Cleveland Browns. Had a great year last year, won 11 games.
Yeah.
They only won 3 games this year. So that just goes to show my point. Peyton, this is probably just like with the Cleveland Browns taking a major step back. This team took a major leap forward.
All right.
And the Chargers.
Yeah.
All right. The Chargers won 5 games last year.
Now 11.
And then they won 11 games this year. So you do have some teams that were kind of bottom of the barrel last year that made steps towards the right direction. And obviously they got a good coach with the Chargers and Harbaugh. So by all means, man, I think that is great. And that says a lot about the NFL and how they're competing. And with that being said, it's been a major carousel, and I'm sorry if I'm taking the floor here, but I did feel like we needed to kind of break that down and explain, like, the teams that made the playoffs are those who deserve to make the playoffs this year.
Sure.
And I was one of those hopeful fans that thought, hey, give me a little bit of luck and help my team get in, but they didn't deserve to be there. So, man, this year was a wild ride.
It was
a wild ride.
With all of that said, there's separation at the top, the rich getting richer. There are other examples of teams that had a poor year last year. The future was looking dim. Washington Commanders, for example.
Yes.
They draft the right quarterback, get the right coach.
Yes.
Look at them now. So
another team that took a major leap. 4 wins last year, 12 wins this year.
So
crazy.
The Chargers, that was a great example. Look at what coaching can do for you.
Man.
Because roster-wise, they drafted the right tackle, Joe Alt, but not too different than last year. I know they were pretty banged up, but
right.
That's an interesting point by you.
Yeah, man. I thought when I saw this stat, I thought it was an amazing feat, and I was really happy to talk about this and mention this on the show. There are so many teams that took leaps forward. We touched on majority of them, but there are some teams that we did not touch on as well. And I feel like at some point in time, maybe in our next episode before we talk about the playoffs, we can really go in and break down these teams and what happened and why they didn't take the leaps that they should have taken or why they declined the way that they declined. So I think that's worth a conversation.
Oh, me too.
And I think that's I think that's a conversation that we should have.
A little bit of a deep dive.
Yeah, man. But we'll save that for later. You did mention that coaching plays a major factor in the success of a team.
Sure.
And we do have a coach that unfortunately joined the ranks of some of his compadres and lost his job today, and that coach being
Antonio Pierce
of the Las Vegas Raiders. So how do you feel about the Raiders releasing Coach Pierce?
I mean, we thought Gerard Mayo didn't get a fair shot. What about this guy?
Man,
I mean, I know he got a year and a half because he was the interim the year before this year, but still, I know it's a buzzword and we talk about quarterbacks a lot, but Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew,
who?
That's not a fair litmus test for him.
Listen,
and the Raiders played hard every week.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't the most competitive team out there, but every time I watched them, it looked like they were fighting.
Listen, man, there's so many ways that I could really break this down. Like when I really think about it, this goes back to me saying the same thing. And I sound like a broken record right now, but by all means, I think the front office plays a major factor. I think owner Mark Davis has been doing a terrible job even since the hiring of John Gruden.
Yeah.
And we've seen that they haven't really had control of that team for a while now.
Even outside of the Gruden hire, it's nothing new that they're running through another coach again.
Right.
You know, in the past decade, 15 years, maybe even 20 years, they probably have the most coaches hired and fired in that span. So that doesn't lead to stability or success.
But you think about all of these things, right? They had the move. They had some promise as a team. They were expected to do well. They had a couple mediocre seasons in between then, but by all means, they never got. Ever since they've been in Vegas, they haven't gotten to the point where they really wanted to be, right?
Yeah.
Especially since those Oakland days, right? And not only that, you lost a lot of fans because of the move. You had some real diehard fans that was out in Oakland, but that's neither here nor there. I do think with Antonio Pierce going 5-4 in his interim season, and then not really having those chips. And you did mention Gerard Mayo, and I think that's a fair comparison to mention Gerard Mayo within the same breath, because when you have a coach, what is the leeway that you're going to give this guy knowing that they don't have the proper pieces in place, right? You can't look at a Gardner Minshew and an Aiden O'Connell and think that you're going to have the same results as a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, or Patrick Mahomes, right?
It's not a fair evaluation.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. So by all means, I believe that you put these coaches in place in order to get you to where you want to go, but you also have to put the pieces in the proper place as well.
Yeah.
Like we all understand that this is chess, not checkers. Like you have to give them some time. Just like in college, right? In college, we give coaches 2-3 years in order to get their rotation correct. I think it's very unfair to fire a coach within his first season.
Yeah. And just as a side note, it is crazy to think that before our time, the Raiders were one of those prominent teams in the NFL.
Yep.
But in our lifetimes, for probably ownership and front office reasons, they've honestly been one of the laughing stocks of the league. So it's a famous brand. I hope they turn it around at some point. But yeah, more of the same from the Raiders.
Man. And speaking of ownership, Jerry Jones says that he's here to stay. Right. Jerry Jones says that he's here to stay. He was asked if he would ever give up the Dallas Cowboys, and his answer was just no. Right. He didn't buy an investment. He didn't buy it to flip it. All right. He's not selling real estate here, but he says he's here to stay. With that being said, there was a call out from Shaquille O'Neal, the big Shaqtus.
Right.
All right. The big Diesel. This guy called him out because Leonard Fournette is a free agent right now. And
he's 29 years old.
Shaq wants to see this guy as a Dallas Cowboy. And I think that would be a great fit, to be honest with you.
They need a tone setter in the backfield.
I think he would be perfect. This is a guy who was established in the NFL. It's honestly, I'm surprised that he doesn't have a job right now.
Yeah.
I know his last stint was with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure what happened there.
And how old is Derrick Henry right now?
Derrick Henry is what?
30?
Is he 30?
He's either 30 or
I don't know. He's a grown man. No matter how old he is, he's a grown man and he's running like it.
Leonard probably still has some tread on those tires.
Right, exactly. And I do think that he would be a great fit in Dallas. And especially if you're leaning into Dak Prescott, you're gonna have to find some type of way.
You're gonna have to help him out.
Yeah. And Pollard's not cutting it. They cut Ezekiel Elliott. So by all means, like, what are you going to do going into next year? So hopefully Jerry's listening.
Yeah.
How do you think Leonard Fournette would do based on his time with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Sure.
How do you think he would fit in that Dallas Cowboys offense?
I think it would be a great fit.
Yeah.
Leonard loves to get downhill, run north and south, really go through tacklers. I think that's something the Cowboys could use, and we've seen the resurgence of that position this year.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not go for it?
Man, I think with that offensive line, and with nothing but room for improvement,
Sure.
I say why not?
Yeah.
Unless you're picking up even if you pick up a solid running back in the draft, maybe in the 3rd, 4th round, somewhere around there, why not bring in a veteran like Leonard Fournette? I'm almost certain he's not asking for a lot of money. You don't have a lot of money to spend. Mm-hmm. So you need as many discounts as you possibly can get. And I would definitely take that engine over one of these new school engines.
Yeah,
right.
Someone that's been on the block,
mm-hmm.
knows how to pass protect in critical situations, things of that nature. So,
and if you look at this guy, bruh, his hamstrings look like biceps. Okay, like his hamstrings are just like,
whoa, some tree trunks or something.
Bro, like this man is. Never mind. All right, never mind. But with that being said, I do think that'll be a great look for them, and I can't wait to see what kind of trouble we're going to get into in this offseason, man. I love the offseason based off transactions. I know that the NFL draft is one of your favorite times of year. So this is just off the top, right? But anybody that you're looking forward to making that transition, Ashton Jeanty declared for the NFL draft today.
Saw that.
Yep. So anybody you are looking forward to making that transition from college football to NFL?
It's got to be Travis Hunter.
Oh, that's
the most intriguing.
That is a good one
because we don't know,
and that's not. It's not because he's a big name player. Like I take away the name.
Just watch him play.
Yeah, I take away the name, and there's a lot of intrigue behind that as well.
Yeah, because I truly believe he can excel on either side of the ball. He's that gifted. So whatever he chooses,
I don't know. Will he choose? I don't know if we had this conversation on camera yet. But will he choose which side of the ball he wants to play on? Because if he's choosing, he's playing both sides.
People have speculated that that's very hard to do at the next level in the NFL. I know it's been done before to some extent.
Yeah.
What say you?
Man, I'd rather see him play the defensive side of the ball. I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he's a good receiver, a great defensive back.
Okay.
I think that he will shine because he does have hands, because he's so elusive, because he has that top tier speed.
Yeah.
He can protect himself at all costs by playing on the defensive side of the ball, and he can help a defense no matter where he goes. He can help them day one.
Yeah. I would agree with that. So I'm very interested to see what team ends up taking him.
My only issue with Travis Hunter and his transition to the NFL is I don't think he's that big. I'm not too sure of his specs and what his dimensions are, but
we'll see how he builds into that frame.
Yeah, he's gonna have to grow a lot.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to grow a lot because he's one of those defensive backs that he's gonna be playing against the top receiver on whatever offense that they're playing, right? So you got to think about the Justin Jeffersons, the DK Metcalfs,
the AJ Browns.
Right. You got to think about all these people. So that's my only question. But he seems like he's ready to step up to the plate and handle that task. And
trust me, we'll have plenty of draft material.
Yeah.
In the coming months, in the future. It's gonna be exciting.
Before we move on, but to answer my own question. The one player, and I've said this, I think I said this maybe yesterday, but the player that I'm looking forward to coming out of college and going to the NFL would be Ashton Jeanty. I want to see how he does. I love me a good running back, and I love a guy who runs like you can't tackle me. And just those powerful runners, man. That's why I'm so infatuated with Derrick Henry, man, and the way that he carries the ball.
Those yards after contact.
Yeah, man.
That's what it's about.
I love me a good elusive running back. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
But I love me a power runner.
Yeah.
I love me a power runner because by the third quarter, you're already sore at halftime.
Well, now I know why you love Saquon, because he's pretty much both.
Yeah, but Saquon, he's more elusive than he is a power runner. Now, he does run downhill.
Yeah.
But
60-40 elusive. We'll leave it at that.
All right, I'll leave it at that. All right, man. Let's move on to our next segment, and then we'll wrap up the show, man. We got our MVP on tap.
Right.
I guess here would that be with the regular season wrapping up, I think we can go ahead and talk about who we think that will be the MVP of the season. Or it doesn't even have to be who wins the actual trophy, but who do you think was the MVP of the season in your eyes? Not in the race for MVP, but who played a major factor and showed that they're one of the best players, if not the best player in the NFL this year?
Okay, full disclosure, and this is going to be a bit of a downer, but I haven't thought about it much, and I don't care about it much, frankly.
Okay.
So I'm interested to hear what you want to say.
Okay.
And I think we know who the top two candidates are between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Frankly, I don't think they care about it much either.
Yeah, I think they've been so disappointed with their postseason record or past postseason performances and not reaching the pinnacle that it doesn't matter if I win the MVP trophy.
Exactly.
And not only that, now just to play devil's advocate here, I do think Josh Allen cares about it a little bit because he's never won it. Lamar Jackson, on the other hand, he's won it. So
got it twice.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think that's something he got two of those trophies. He wants the big guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wants the trophy that comes with the ring. So I think that's his main focus, and they look prime. They look prime for it, man. It's so hard to actually sit here and nail down who's the MVP of this season, because one is when one person was running away with it, there was another person right behind them who took the lead and has been switching back and forth. This whole season, I thought a running back would win the trophy. But late down the stretch, it was looking like a quarterback would win the trophy. Yeah. So, man, if you ask me, if I had to give it to somebody, I probably, man. So, okay, let's think about this, right?
All right.
You have the best teams in the NFL, right?
Right.
You have the Minnesota Vikings. You have the Detroit Lions.
Sure.
You have
the Eagles.
You have the Buffalo Bills. You have the
Chiefs,
and the Ravens, right? Three of those teams off the top of my head have two people on their team who can be nominated as the MVP. And that's the Eagles,
the
Ravens, and maybe Detroit.
Okay.
Nope. So
I wish I was more combative and more helpful in this conversation, and I'm trying to think of it. You know who the first person I thought of was?
Okay, who was that?
A coach.
But a coach can't win the MVP trophy.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
When you think about what Sean Payton's done in Denver, and that's not to take anything away from the players on that roster.
Okay.
That's just a big time turnaround. They were projected to win 5.5 games, and they're sitting here in the playoffs. That's my piece. But no,
I hear where you're coming from, and that's an interesting take. Maybe he wins the Coach of the Year award.
Maybe so.
Highly unlikely, but
but for the fun of it, we should get into this MVP conversation.
I'm really sitting here thinking about who would I give my MVP trophy to. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. He's been my guy all year, and I don't care if I'm biased. My MVP is Derrick Henry. My MVP is Derrick Henry, and you can say what you want about me, but that guy's deserving of an award.
He did have a big showcase game against the Ravens' biggest rival in the Steelers, where he averaged almost 7 yards a carry,
right,
and had 170 yards in that pivotal game for the division, essentially.
That guy had like 8 yards at halftime, and then at the beginning of the fourth quarter, he had 130 yards in the second half. So, come on, man. Come on, man.
I would,
In the
give
words
it to
of Randy Moss.
Lamar over Derek if I had to pick between the two of them.
Rightfully so. And you're not wrong if you give it to either one of them. And I'm not mad at that decision.
Yeah.
I just,
why not change it up and give it to a running back?
yeah,
In a
man.
sense.
Man, that would probably be not what the NFL wants to do. You know,
Yeah.
because they're already taking away the vision and the value of the running back position. So, oh man,
It's
that's
an interesting conversation.
yeah, man. So, please let us know
Yeah.
who's your MVP.
Yeah.
Let us know who's your MVP. Who you think will win the MVP trophy. Now's the time to start having that conversation. So,
Yeah.
I think this is a good one. It's gonna be a tight race, and no matter who wins it, I think they're gonna deserve it, especially if it's coming from those 6 teams that we mentioned.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bro.
Why don't we do, just to cap it off?
Okay.
If it wasn't one of Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Derrick Henry, since you said Derrick Henry would be your MVP,
Mm-hmm.
if you take those 3 guys away, who's the next most valuable player in the league after those 3 guys? That's interesting.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Sam Darnold.
Had a great season.
Hey, listen, Sam Darnold, I think that would be the Cinderella pick in the MVP race. But you can't take away anything. Maybe he didn't have the shiny numbers. Maybe he didn't have all the top tier performances as all the other people, but he did manage his
team to 14 victories. Yeah, it's true. I'm happy for the guy because, as you said last night, he's a journeyman.
Yep.
And he's been through a lot. So to see him succeed at this level now, got to give him his props. He's always had the tools in his toolbox.
Yep.
Now he's showing them off with a great coach in Kevin O'Connell. So I like that pick.
Man, I think he's well deserving of something. Whether it's a NFC championship game in order to prove his worth, but he's deserving of something, whether that be a contract extension or something.
Right.
He's definitely proven himself, especially knowing where he came from and how he started his career. So big ups to Sam Darnold, man. And I don't think he's mentioned enough.
Yeah.
You know, especially with a team that's sitting number 2 in the NFC.
Well, technically number 5, but second best record.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Got you. The 5 seed.
Yes.
Right.
Seed.
But the second best team in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So because what it would be Detroit,
Philly and Minnesota, same record.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Okay. Got it. Okay.
But man, I'm looking forward to our next episode.
Yeah.
We just preview the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it right now. That's going to be our best episode yet.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Not only are we going to look forward into the playoffs, but we're going to take a look at what we talked about today. Some of those teams that took steps forwards and some of those teams that kind of backpedaled a little bit.
Do a full evaluation of what happened this season. We'll pick a couple of interesting, intriguing teams out.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. You guys should look forward to our next episode.
Yeah.
I'm calling it right now. It will happen. It's going to be Friday.
It's going to be Friday.
It's going to be Friday.
Be live.
Yep.
And it's going to be our best one yet.
Yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to it, man. Yeah. It's always a pleasure to do these shows with you, bro.
Dude.
Man.
And it's a pleasure to do these shows with y'all.
Yes, sir.
As we always say, we're looking for that engagement. We want to see what y'all think. So
yes, sir.
We appreciate and love y'all.
Hey, man, for the people that's been rocking with us since day one, for those who are just coming aboard, man, everybody, like my guy Peyton just said, man, we appreciate y'all so much. Let's go ahead and start getting engaged, man, and let's start having these conversations in the comment section, and let's start, creating that vibe and just talking ball, man. That's really why we're here. We're just 2 guys with an opinion, and we'd love to hear your opinion and what you have to say. So don't be afraid to go ahead and drop those comments and share the show with your friends, people that you always talking ball with. Maybe we can get some of you guys on the show as well, man. We have an extra seat here.
True.
Not literally here, but you guys can call into the show and give your opinion as well. So with that being said, man, please be sure to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, follow us on all social media platforms at the Sportaholics, man. And until next time, Peyton.
Until next time, stay tuned.
Yes, sir. Stay classy, San
Stay
Diego.
classy. Yeah, there you go. I like that. Even better.
All right, man.
Yeah.
We out of here.
Peace.